Every Spider-Man Ever presents The Amazing Spider-Man issue 43. The Rhino is escaping. With his thick hide, not even bullets can stop him, and he charges out and through a wall. Elsewhere, and less dramatically, in the Daily Bugle offices, Betty and Ned have finally got engaged, but Jonah has no time for that. He wants a good story for his newspaper. And completely oblivious to both of these facts is Peter Parker, who is having dinner with his aunt, her friend, and Mary Jane Watson. And he's only got eyes for her. They flirt, and he learns that she's an actress, that she just needs the world to catch up onto this fact. And then she dances to music playing on the television, because everything to her is a party. Unfortunately, the world disagrees, and her music is interrupted by breaking news. The Rhino has escaped, just like we saw at the beginning. Just as Peter is working out a way to ditch his aunt and Mary Jane, MJ suggests that they should hop on his bike and go and find this Rhino person, that she bets he would be a real swinger. And so they do. Meanwhile, across the city, Foggy Nelson, the Rhino's lawyer, sulks because he wished that he had a juicy tax case instead. And Matt Murdock broods because he wanted the Rhino case, and he should probably let Spider-Man face the Rhino first rather than suiting up as Daredevil. I guess Spider-Man called dibs. Does this have any impact on the plot? Not at all. Elsewhere, the Rhino is waiting around for Spider-Man to appear to get his revenge, and he uses that time to reminisce about his backstory and fill us in on how he became the Rhino. He was just an ordinary hired hood, too stupid to betray anybody, and he agreed to undergo experiments. Those experiments lasted months, and he was granted super strength and given a molecular adhesive as a second skin. But, unknown to his bosses, he was also made smarter. Smart enough to betray somebody, and so he did betray them. As the Rhino is thinking about his past, Peter Parker and MJ arrive on the scene, and he explains that he needs to take some photographs and leaves her in the crowd. He Spider-Mans up, sets up a camera, and confronts the Rhino. The Rhino is faster than expected, and soon Spider-Man finds himself playing a dodging game, unable to do any real damage. The Rhino realizes this, that Spider-Man will always just stay out of reach, and so he decides to bring Spidey to him. He does this by charging through a building, like a Rhino, and towards the curious crowd gathered on the other side. That crowd that has MJ in it. This has the desired effect. Spider-Man is forced to get close, slamming the Rhino into the road, but it means that he's too close to the Rhino charging and is knocked prone. As the Rhino builds up momentum to charge again, a lone policeman bravely moves forward and pulls Spider-Man out of harm's way. And, since nothing could have survived, the Rhino assumes that he must have killed Spider-Man, and he stomps away. In the crowd, this whole scene was witnessed by the Daily Bugle's star reporter, Frederick Foswell, who can't wait to tell J. Jonah Jameson about what happened. As Spider-Man becomes Peter Parker once more and collects his camera, he finds a piece of the Rhino's hide in the alleyway, which gives him an idea. After dropping Mary Jane back at home, Peter sells his photographs to Jonah, who loves them so much that he offers Peter a bonus, his own key to the washroom. He then delivers the piece of hide to Dr. Kurt Connors, the scientist that sometimes becomes an evil lizard, and the two of them work through the night on something that will stop the Rhino. With the formula completed, Spidey heads to the bedside of John Jameson, recovering after the events of last issue, and waits for the Rhino. He figures that the Rhino will still be looking to capture John, spore-powered or not. And Spider-Man is proved right when the Rhino charges, like a Rhino, into John's hospital room. Spidey moves quickly, smashing through the window and webbing the Rhino up. While the Rhino tries to tear the webbing off, it sticks to his skin and soon melts it away, burning away the Rhino's protection. With one punch, Spidey takes the villain down, and with a salute to John Jameson, he leaves. Later, Peter bumps into Gwen, Harry, and Flash, and learns that Flash has been called up to serve in the army. And at home, he finds out that Aunt May is feeling weak and hasn't been refilling her prescription, probably because she doesn't have any money, and Peter curses himself for his carefree spending on a motorbike of all things. To save money, he cancels a date with Mary Jane, who acts like she doesn't care at all, and he spends the night brooding all about his life. Thanks for watching, and while you decide what to watch next, here's 2 fun facts about this issue. This is the first issue in which we see how Spider-Man sets up his camera to capture all of his fights and sell those as photographs. It's also one of the last issues that we see Rhino as an intelligent villain, as later writers seem to forget this fact of his backstory.